it's going to take more than a week to make that change. It's going to take more than 2 weeks. It's going to take a month. We need time out so we can take what you are directing us to do and put it in this document. And we think much quicker than we can act. Their World Wide Web is really good.
So from a process perspective, I'm hearing a couple of things. Number one, probably we'll need to make sure as we're getting prepared to make changes that we're keeping a list that the commissioners can see that we've got the changes and they're on the list, and that they can at some point make a motion and say, yes, that's our direction to you. Number two is I'm hearing a need for between now and I think it's the end of October that we need to take action, that the board needs to take action, but you're going to need some time. So when would you like to have had the board's direction all tied up neatly with a bow so you can come and generate a clean document?
And that would be in our schedule that we've had for months.
Sorry.
Which is fine. We understand that. Michelle, you want to go into that?
Sure, yeah. The schedule that we have last revised on July 20th, as we've been discussing this morning, today and the next 2 Mondays we have scheduled for your deliberations. We're looking for that direction on the 28th of this month to say, indeed, okay, staff, please go make all these changes that we've just decided are necessary.
And is that your final answer, so to speak? In other words, that gives just 2 meetings to get through the balance of this and give decisive direction on many fronts. So is there any flexibility on that if necessary?
That is a very tight schedule for us to make the October 30th deadline. That gives, yes, these 3 meetings for board deliberations. It gives staff a week and a half to prepare the document that you're going to be ready to locally approve and get it back here as part of an agenda request submittal the week prior. And that's with the target of October 12th for board action to locally approve the document, and then that gives staff another 2 weeks or so to actually put together the entire submittal packet, which will include the locally approved SMP document, but there's also, we'll need to ensure that we'll need to finalize the draft cumulative impacts analysis so that it accurately reflects the document we're really submitting to the state. And then ecology also has a submittal checklist that needs to be completed and needs to accompany the actual SMP document, and that document is essentially the county proving and referencing how all the state requirements are met. So it's a list of questions based off the state guidelines, and then we fill in the blank to say, yes, we've met that provision, and it's located here, 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 and here in the document. So it's some pretty good detail work that also needs to be completed before we actually put a stamp on the packet and put it in the mail to ecology. So it's a pretty tight timeline.
So on the 28th, the picture we have here is that you would make a motion to adopt the Planning Commission draft with the following changes. And you list them out. 1, you make a motion. 2, motion. 3, motion. So we know clear as a bell, that's what you intend to do. First, number 1, maybe the changes from September 2nd for pagination and correct the clerical errors. Okay. I don't expect you to have to go through that long list again. But you'll get to a point where, similar to the critical errors, you like a public comment letter, you like a concept. Okay? You might even direct us to correct some language or seek legal advice at that point, so we need some time for that. Or you might go to the departmental recommendation and say, no, we'll take what DCD staff recs on page 52, half of it, and put it in here. We want to keep half of the planning commission, that kind of stuff. That's what you're going to be doing. And it's going to be deliberate, patient, clear, on the record, transparent, so everybody can see why you're thinking the way you're thinking. And before we get too far down, we want to ask you to help draft the final resolution, your growth management indicators, your findings of fact, in a general sense. And we'll draft those up as well and bring them to you.
I'm thinking of just the practical process here. As I've looked at a number of the recommendations, some of them seem to make a tremendous amount of sense. Just one that comes off the top of my mind, I think Al Latham, or someone pointed out that there is a segment of the shoreline that is east of the Quilcene River on the shoreline that has traditionally been agricultural. And there's significant man-made interference with it. And his suggestion was that that particular area, because it has been influenced highly by human activity, that it should be conservation instead of natural. So as I read it, at least, it seemed to make a lot of sense. And, it would be, so we would change that one area of our map. And in saying that, Phil and Dave would listen and they'd look at it and they might disagree. Or they might agree and they say, yeah, that makes sense. In the course of our long deliberations. So that would be seen as something where there's agreement. Staff would change its, or make a recommendation. And then when we get to the final deliberations, this would already have been done. Otherwise, we're going to spend
Correct.
some evening, 24 hours in a row, going by, having a formal motion, adoption on every single, seems to me like every single item would be more efficient and just as open. If we could say, all right, the final staff recommendation based upon things that we've said and that the Planning Commission has said is what we have before you now.
So that would be October 12th. We would take your motions and/or as the chair would facilitate you, if you get to consensus and we see 3 nods, we go, okay, and you go, okay, make it so. We'll bring that back to you, and then on October 12th, that would be in your adopting resolution.
Okay.
And you would see how the planning commission draft was changed to reflect your deliberation.